Hello, everybody. Hello, shalom.
Okay, now I don't know how this is going to work because I'm not a very smart guy and I'm having trouble watching too many cameras and too many microphones all at once. But he's going to turn the camera in a second so that he can see me. Then he knows who he's talking to. Hi, how you doing?
Oh, very good.
Outstanding. Ilan, it is fantastic to be with you this morning. We thank you for taking time in your very, very busy schedule to come and talk with us.
Thank you for having me.
This here is representatives from, I think, over 20 countries of Christians for Israel. And of course, you know me and you know Marie-Louise from Europe as well. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Yeah, of course. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Now, just before I start asking some questions, I just want to elaborate slightly on Marie-Louise's introduction. One of the ways that I can only say God connected from the other side of the world is that Ilan's cousin is a very good friend of mine, and she lives in Auckland. And as you can imagine, when October 7 happened, there were many people hurting throughout New Zealand, and one of the things that we tried to do was to see what we could do to help. And one of the things that she wanted to know was that Ilan was okay, and of course I came over here just 3 weeks after October 7th and was able to meet with Ilan, which was a very special time. The other thing that was very significant is that Guy is the same age as my middle son, and it was quite something to present to my family and talk with my wife and just share and try and understand some of what you've been through. So it was an amazing thing to connect with you from the other side of the world.
Thank you very much. It was special for me too.
Ilan, I wonder if you could start by telling us a little bit about you. Marie-Louise and I have both come to know you, but many of our colleagues here from all around the world won't be aware. Can you just tell us a little bit about you and your life before everything changed so big?
Yeah, of course. When Guy was kidnapped, I was 57. Now I'm 59. I was working as a computer programmer for a company for a few years now. And my second job was a photographer. My wife also had two jobs. She's a cosmetician and she's a laser technician. So we were working from daylight to sundown, and we provide our family with dignity. We have three kids. Gal is the oldest. Guy is in the middle, and Gaia is the youngest sister. We live in Alfei Menashe, and you know, our family was always full of joy. Before Guy was abducted, there always music in the house. Guy was playing the guitar. Gaia was singing, and we have a good life. We have a good life until October 7, when the terrorists penetrate Israel and kidnap Guy. I can elaborate on the story later, but since then we quit all our jobs and we were 100% dedicated to bring Guy back to the struggle. And luckily for us, he came back after 2 years, but it was 2 horrific years. And we know that he suffered a lot, we suffered a lot, but eventually we had luck, we had and watch from God above, I believe, because he kept him safe for 2 years and brought it back to us.
That's wonderful, and we are so excited, all of us, to be able to celebrate what we hoped for and we prayed for, but it really was a wonderful thing to watch as these young people were returned. I wonder if you could tell us just a little bit about Guy's interests, because obviously one of them we came to learn about a little while, and that was anime. But can you tell us a little bit about what sort of person Guy was? Guy is.
Guy is a good boy. He's very connected to his brother and sister. They were all the time together. They did everything together. Guy did not go out with his friends without getting the approval of his sister that the shoes match the pants, that match the shirt, and the hair is in place. And she was his stylist, as we can say. He likes anime, as you know. He likes the Japanese culture. He learned to speak and write Japanese, although when he came back, we learned that he speak Arabic better now.
Oh,
He a little bit forget about Japanese, but he's now learning again because he want to go to Japan to a big trip that he missed 2 years ago. He also finished his education in computer science just 2 months before he was abducted. He likes sports. He likes Maccabi Haifa in Israel, the football team. He likes to go to the gym. He was always playing football or basketball or anything with a ball. He's a master in ping pong. And
help.
he liked computer games, so he was every night he was playing with his friends and shout all night and annoying
Yep.
us. We missed that very much in the past 2 years, and now he's came back. And last night
Wonderful.
played with his
Wonderful.
friend. He shouted again, and it was really really nice to
That's
hear
so
him
special.
shout on the
So
road
in
again.
some ways, he's obviously he's very, very special, but in many ways, he was a normal, ordinary, lovely human being.
Exactly, normal, 100%.
Now, Ilan, I'd like to move a little bit more into the day of October 7. I first have to say I've spent a lot of time interviewing with Ilan and with other hostage families, and I must give you absolute honor at the way that you've managed to keep sharing over and over and share the story. And I don't think I could do that. But I want to ask you a couple of questions about October 7 itself. I understand both your sons were involved at the Nova party, at the Nova festival. How did you find out? If you could talk us through October 7, how did you find out what had happened to your sons, and obviously in particular Guy?
On October 7, we woke up really early because there was sirens all over that from the missiles that Hamas threw toward Israel. And at first, we didn't know what's going on in the south. I thought it was an ordinary missile attack, as was all the time. And after 10, 15 minutes, it should be over. But this time it wasn't over, and the sirens went on and on and on. And at 7 o'clock in the morning, I started to see in the social media that in the south there was a music festival that the terrorists came there and started to massacre people. At this point, I didn't really know that he is in this place. I thought he's somewhere else. And we called Guy, and he didn't answer. And then we called Gal, and we found out that there was a terrorist attack, and Gal is hiding someplace. And he said that Guy and his friends are left in their car, and he thinks that they are on their way home. This is what he thought also at the same time. So we tried to call Guy again and again, but we didn't have any connection with him. And in some point, Gal, we had connection with Gal, the older one, all the time. and in some points they say that I hear the terrorist coming this way, and I need to go, and he just ran from place to place. Um, and at about 10, 13 in the morning, after 3 hours that we didn't have any connection with Guy, we started to look for lists of people that were rescues from this music festival by other places. They were posted on the internet, and we tried to look for Guy's name in there, and we didn't find it. And I was just about to go to the hospital to see if there were wounded people that came, or God forbid, bodies. And as I was walking out the door, my wife's sister, um, showed me the video that Hamas was published. It was 11:30 at noon, where we saw a guy and his good friend Aviatar and three other hostages already in Gaza, handcuffs and frightened, in shock, and some terrorists moving through them with a flashlight and asking them to say something, maybe their names. Um, this is how we found out that he was kidnapped. It was a shock for us. I tried to calm my wife and told her that at least he wasn't dead, because we knew that at this point there were hundreds of dead people in this area that were murdered, and as long as he's not killed, I told her that um, we have a chance to see him back alive. Of course, it wasn't comforting at this moment, and it was a big shock for us. Luckily, it turned out. So it was.
He's back.
Yeah. So yeah, someone called me in the middle of the. Sorry. Okay. Okay, so this is how we found out actually that he was kidnapped with the video that Hamas released on 11:30 at noon.
Yeah, that must be an incredible thing to look back on. And I can only imagine what that must be like as a father and as a family. How does it affect when you find out just at that moment that one of your family has been abducted? What is the dynamic amongst the whole family?
It was a shock for us. My wife fell to the ground and started to cry. There was a lot of people came to our house, neighbors, medics, a doctor, even some of the police, and they all tried to make our life a little bit easier to treat us, and it was the first few days were really hard, because we didn't we didn't know what's going to happen. At first we thought that maybe it will take only a few days, because there are so many people that were kidnapped, and maybe it wouldn't take so long like it was with other hostages before, Gilad Shalit or Adar Goldin, which were there 5 years, and one of them is still there after 11 years, and we didn't really know what to expect. So we try to take it one step at a time. At first, we need to calm down and understand that he's alive. And later that day, Gal came back home after 10 hours that he was running and hiding from the terrorists in the fields. And he came back, and this was a little bit of a relief. Um, and from that point, we just started the struggle to bring him back.
Now, we can only imagine how that feels. But when I met you first, it was only 3 or 4 weeks after October 7. We met at Hostage Square in Tel Aviv. And already there was a group, an organization. Already the families were starting together to get together. Already there was a plan starting to come together as to how the families were going to fight to get their loved ones back. Now we know that when the attack happened, it took a little while for the shock for the whole of Israel before things started to work and started to happen, even to get the military moving. But I wonder if you could share for us for a little bit how in those first few months the plan came together as to how you as a family were going to fight for Guy.
Well, it was a big balagan in Israel. Most of the systems did not work. The first week there were 1,000 people that were missing. We didn't know what's going on with them. People were in the hospitals shouting and screaming, looking for their children. It took a few days, just like a week, just to clear the area from terrorists. The IDF and the police fought there day and night, clearing the area. There were terrorists that were still hiding in places and popping out from time to time and killing soldiers and killing civilians. Also, there were civilians that were killed in some places that they didn't were not found at the first day, and also people that were hiding and was too scared to come out, and they came out only 2 or 3 days later. So in the first days, we didn't know what's going on with a lot of people, and there was a big chaos in Israel. And only about a week later, the picture was clarified, and all the dead people were collected, and the families were announced, and we know who is kidnapped and who is not. Um, this was
That
the
must
first
be a
day.
very difficult time. I wonder if you could share with us when this happens, your entire life changes. How do you look after yourself? I met with other hostage families, and some of the families ended up in hospital because the strain and the pain was so great. How do you look after your other son, your daughter, your wife, and yourself?
Well, as you said before, there's a new group that settled up the, the the hostage forum and the hostage and missing forum. It was at first because there was a lot of missing, and all the parents that had the kids or loved ones that are missing or kidnapped signed up to this group. And this is the first step of it, because there was no organization that could that, that handle this kind of situation, because it was the first time that we had such an event with so many hostages kidnapped by Hamas, and the government was literally in shock. The army was in shock, and the government did not operate properly. So a lot of civilians took actions and went to look for people, and send the stuff to the army that they needed,
Mm.
and also operate the forum of the hostages families. And this was the first place that we could all be together and decide how to operate and what to do. So this was the first steps of the rallies in the hostages square, and since then it's evolved very much, and it started to help the families psychologically and economically.
That was going to be my next question. As I met obviously with you and with several other families, and life stops. they can't work, they can't function, they can't do anything because they're so focused on fighting to get their loved ones back. How do you all survive? It's good to hear that there was some care and people helping look after you, but are you okay? Have you managed to survive?
Well, there were some hard times where we were very despaired. We thought that there was going to be a deal, and there wasn't a deal eventually. And there was sometimes that we couldn't take our head out of the bed. But then we just remembered where my son is and what he's going through, and he's counting on us that we will be his voice and fight for him and do whatever we can to bring him back. And so we came out and to another day of struggle. It was very much helped us that we've been with other families that understood our situation. The headquarter of families raised a lot of money in order to make activities in Israel and in abroad, and they were supporting us financially. Also, the government, after a few months, decided to help also financially. So, in this matter, we were relatively okay. It's not the kind of money that we were earning before, but it helped us to keep our head above the water and move on and with the struggle.
Well, it's great to hear that there was some care and that that the nation of Israel came together. We know that it was a little difficult for the first month or so because of the shock, but eventually it did come together. A question I would ask, it might be a little bit of a difficult question, and if you don't want to answer it, that's fine. But one of the things we've seen from around the world, and I've seen from here in Israel, is the effect that it has had on Israelis. Israelis as a nation have been hurt, and we've seen protests one night for one thing, protests for another thing, protests for another thing. How do you think this has affected the nation of Israel, the people of Israel, as they have gone through this horrible 2-year period?
Well, after the first shock, of course, that everybody were in shock. We started to see that the people of Israel are coming together and trying to help the government as much as they can. They supported the army, they supported the medical staff, they supported the families, and in some points there was in every society they started the political controversies, and some people, of course, because there were so many hostages, the families had the all variety of opinions. They were from the left, from the right, and in some point some people thought that in order to get the children back, the hostages back, we need to go and turn against the government and protest against them because they thought that they are not doing enough, and the other families thought that they need to support the government and strengthen them in the fight against Hamas. And this was we are democratic countries, and all opinions are legal. So some families turned to protest against the government, and some families went to the kind of action that supported the government.
Yeah.
And this is what was.
Yeah. Thank you. I'd like to move now to more exciting time. You mentioned that there were other possibilities that came up, whether maybe there was going to be a deal, maybe there was going to be an exchange of some sort, and each time they didn't work. Then all of a sudden, we have this peace plan, we have Mr. Trump swans in and starts meeting with people, and all of a sudden we have a plan that looks a lot more promising, a lot more positive. First of all, when you had hopes before, but they didn't work out, were you able to get hopeful about this one, or do you just remain calm and wait and see?
Come the past 2 years, but as you know, there were some in some points there were some deals that hostages were released, and we saw that people are coming back to their families. Actually, we knew that the guy was going to be one of the last that is going to be released because they had some point of humanitarian steps like women and elderly and children that were released at first, and then they took the people that are more sick, that have diseases. And I know that Guy and his friends are young and strong. They are not ill, so I assume that they were going to be in the last phase. But I didn't thought that the last phase will take so long, because the first phase
Yeah,
was in November 23.
yeah. Oh, we lost you for a second.
About two women
Oh,
and the yeah. Sorry, it's
oh,
because
there we
of
go.
the yeah. They were yes. I'm so sorry. Um, So we knew that there are going to be deals, but the last few months was the hardest for us because the only the young men remain there, and we've been to Washington a few times, and we heard President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu a few times saying that soon there was going to be a deal, like next week or in 3 days, or and we really were in a great anticipation, but it didn't happen. Eventually, even one time we went to it was in July, I think. We went to Washington because everybody thought that there was going to be a deal signed,
Mm, mm.
and we waited for the deal to be signed, and they didn't sign any deal. And then we have a close talk with the prime minister, and he promised to get our sons back, but he didn't say when. And he also said that he was committed to eliminating Hamas, and these both goals were very frightening to us because we know that this is something that had to be done, the elimination of Hamas. But
Mm.
our kids were in there, and they was in life dangers every day, and we just were afraid that some in some point we'll hear the knock on the door that will bring us the worst news, and this was on a daily basis this fear until the last deal.
Until the last deal. I want to move on to the last part of my questions here. And I've entitled it here, Guy Came Home, with an exclamation mark, because this is something that we celebrate. And I hope you understand how much we celebrate this all around the world. So people from all around the world have come to know your name. We've come to know Guy's name. We've come to know many of the hostages and some of their families. And when there was hope, we celebrated. When the deal
Yeah.
didn't work out, we were very sad. We were crushed. And obviously, in New Zealand, we were looking after some of your family as well and journeying with them. When he
Yeah.
was released, we cried with joy. How does it feel to suddenly, not through your choice, but suddenly become so famous that everybody wants to see you and everybody wants to talk to you?
Well, I got used to it in the past 2 years, slowly, but every time we get more familiar with people around the world as we traveled and we talk to people. The shocking things was to Guy because he was 2 years in these tunnels alone, sometimes with one person, sometimes with two persons, but in the dark, with no sunshine. And in one moment he came out to the light, to see a lot of people, to know that he's famous all over the country, all over the world. At first, it was very hard for him to comprehend, but we took the time with him, and the first 2 weeks we were in the hospital for treatments, and slowly we exposed him to the celeb he became, unwillingly, of course, but and the people all over the world and in Israel in particular love him very much. And wherever we go in the streets, people come after him and say that they love him and he's a hero and want to take a picture with him. And I think he's starting to get the sense of how is it to be famous and not anonymous as he
Yeah.
was before.
Wow. There's been huge groups of people all around the world, including Europe and New Zealand, who have adopted your family. And we've adopted Guy, and I have his picture all over my fridge at home, as do about 3,500 members of Christians for Israel, because that's how many stickers that we managed to print and send out. So all over New Zealand and around the world, people have adopted you, and we feel that you are family. We've heard your story, we've felt your pain, and now you, as a family and as Guy's father, now you kind of have to share him. Even though you've only just got him back, you have to share him with the rest of the world. And of course, many of the people are complete strangers. You'll have no idea who they are, but they think they know you. Now,
Well,
we know
they,
from,
they,
we've discussed this, you and I, in other meetings, but also at the beginning of this interview, that this life, this whole 2 years was not what you planned, was not what you asked for. And so I guess this is a very difficult question, but we can't possibly understand what it feels like to finally have your son home, to have your family back together again. Can you try? I know that's very difficult, but try and help us understand what that feels like after 2 years.
well, that's a very good question. I think that first of all, we became a complete and the whole family again. We when Guy was abducted, we couldn't have dinners together. We didn't have any celebrations. We didn't go to celebrations, to family events. We didn't have Shabbat dinner with all the family because we couldn't do it. We couldn't breathe, we couldn't sleep, we couldn't eat properly. I was used to go to watch football match with Guy or movies. We didn't see a movie or saw a football match for 2 years. We didn't hear music because music related with joy, and we couldn't have any joy in our life while Guy is such in bad shape. So in this sense, we got our life back. Our family became whole again. We can hear music again. We can really joy and smile from the bottom of our hearts. We can now. We had a Shabbat dinner for the first time in 2 years last week, and we just came back to life. Actually,
Yeah.
um, we said that our family, all the members of our family, are going to change their birthday date to October 13th, was the day of his release. So this is our new birthday. This is the day that we were reborn, all the family, and we can now breathe, we can now eat, we can now smile, and hear music and live. Actually,
Ilan, this has been an incredible time for you. It's been an incredible time for us, and we're only watching. But in front of you right now, the camera's about to turn around. There's a whole bunch of people that love you. These people have traveled from all over the world because we love you and we love Israel. And we stand with you. From all over the place.
We can wish him Shabbat Shalom.
We can wish Shabbat Shalom. Ilan, I look forward to catching up with you maybe in a few weeks' time. I have promised your cousin, Revi, that I need to come and see you, and I bring gifts from New Zealand, so I look forward to that. And of course, like I brought you one time before, some of that's New Zealand chocolate, so I know that will go down very well. But just before I hand the microphone to Marie-Louise, I just want to personally thank you. I want to thank you because you have opened your heart at a time when you were going through so much. And even when you could have pushed everybody away, you didn't. And you welcomed us in, and we were able to share that with people around the world. And I want to thank you for that and honor you for that.
When I talk to you and other people around the world, it really gave me a lot of strength. So thank you very much also, and I'm looking forward for the dinner in Tel Aviv, you promised.
Yeah. And we in Austria are looking forward, Ilan, for the time when Guy is strong enough. We spoke about this in Vienna, that you bring your whole family. And this time we are not going to the UN in Vienna, and we are not going on that square for a vigil, but we are going to see the Alps and the lakes, and we are going to have a wonderful time for you. We'll organize a wonderful time for your family to see how beautiful Austria is. So we are waiting for you. Please tell Guy we're waiting for him.
Thank you very much. Austria is very special to us, as you know. Tal Schwarm was an Austrian citizen, and he was with Guy in the tunnels for very long. And when he got released, he asked the Austrian government to adopt Guy, and they agreed. And since then, we were in Austria a few times, and we got a lot of love from the people, from the Jewish community, from the government. We're in touch with the counselor. He just called us a few days ago to ask how his Guy is doing. And of course, one of the first things we are going to do when Guy will get stronger is come to Austria and say thank you to everybody. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. We're looking forward to having you there.
Now, just before I let Marie-Louise close, I just need to point out that Austria is beautiful.
Yeah.
But if you really want to see the promised land, you need to come to New Zealand.
Well, I'm sure that we'll get there also. We'll get there.
I hope so. We need to make that. We need to make that happen.
We'll make the arrangement together.
Okay, Ilan, thank you very, very much for your time. Love to your wife, to your kids, to Guy especially. We pray for his speedy recovery, for refuah shlema, that he may completely heal inside and outside, and that he may be able to enjoy life, enjoy his guitar playing again. So thank you very much. Shabbat Shalom to your whole family.
Thank you very much, and thank you for all the prayers all throughout the years, and we're looking forward to seeing you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Shabbat Shalom.